Okay, so the heading for today is addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions. Okay, let's see what we do with fraction. So when we deal with fraction, we can multiply them. Okay, so we can do things like this: 5 divided by 3 multiplied by, let's say, 2, 9, for example. Okay, and we know that when we multiply fraction, we just multiply right across. Okay, so we do 5 times 2, so that is 10, and then we do 3 times 9, okay, which is 27. Okay, so multiplying fraction is easy. Okay, so we multiply the numerator, and then we divide the answer by the product of the denominators. 2. When we divide fraction, we know that we have to do, for example, if you have 2 over 5 divided by, just to say something, 1/3. Okay, so we learned that division becomes multiplication when dealing with fractions. So I mean that what we do 2 over 5, but then we multiply by the reciprocal of that fraction. And then we just do normal multiplication, so we do 2 times 3, and then we do 5 times 1. Okay. 3. When we add or subtract fraction is when the whole thing gets a little bit different. Okay, so we need to consider 2 cases. Okay, let's say that we are doing 6 over 5 plus 3 over 5. Okay, so these are 2 different fractions. However, we have the same denominator. Okay, 2 different fractions, but we have the same denominator. If we have the same denominator, then we just add the numerator. So we do 6 plus 3, which is 9. And then we divide the answer by the common denominator. So that means that the answer is 9 over 5. Same thing when we take away. Let's say that we do 7 over 4, take away 2 over 4. Why not? So when we do that, we have the same denominator. So then all what we do is just take away 7 minus 2. Okay, so we operate the numerator. So we do 7 minus 2 is equal to 5. And then we keep the same denominator. Okay, so when we have addition or take away of fractions, then this is how you do it. If they have the same denominator, you can see is very, very simple. But then if the denominator or the bottom number are different, then we gotta be a bit more careful. Okay, let's say that we have this. Quite simple. All right, so let's say that you do 2 over 3 plus 4 over 5. All right, when you have this, then you can see that we have different denominators, so that means that we cannot put them together as we did, on question 3. Okay, and then we have 2 different ways of doing this, but the way that we're going to be doing addition with different denominator or take away will be like this. Okay, so I really want to have the same I really want to have the same denominator. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom of this fraction. Okay, so I really want to amplify this fraction, if you want, by 5. So we're going to do 2 times 5, and then we do 3 multiplied by the number from the other fraction. And then similarly, if I want to have the same denominator as in here, then we need to multiply the top and the bottom of this fraction by 3. Okay, so we're going to do 4 times 3, and then we're going to do 5 times 3. Alright, and then what we do, we just simplify. So the top of this fraction is going to be equal to 10, and the denominator is going to be 15. Similarly, the answer for this is going to be 12, but now we're going to have exactly the same denominator. Can you see that? Alright, so if you have the same denominator, then we can put them together now. So we're going to have 10 plus 12 is 22, and then the answer is over 15. Okay, so the full answer is 22 divided by 15. Okay, let's do another one in here. Let's say that we have this question 5. We have 3/5 minus 4 7. Okay, so we cannot do the subtraction straight away because we have different denominators. So what we are going to do, we are going to multiply this fraction by the number. Okay, so the top and the bottom by that number. So then we're going to have 5 and 7 in here, and then we're going to multiply this by 5, so we're going to have 7 and 5, and then let's see what's going to happen. So let's do what we said. So we're going to multiply the top of this fraction by 7, so 3 times 7, but we have to do so with the bottom number, and then we're going to multiply this and this by 5. Okay, so I'm going to do 4 times 5 and 7 times 5. We do that just to have the same bottom numbers. Okay, and then we do 3 times 7 is 21, divide by 5 times 7, which is 35, take away 4 times 5 is 20, and then 7 times 5 is 35. Now we can put them together, so we're going to have 21 minus 20, so it's going to be just 1 over 35. Okay, so I mean that the answer is 1 over 35. Okay, my point is this. So when you are dealing with fraction, multiplication and division is not a big deal. Okay, so we don't need to do anything special except changing division to multiplication and flipping, the second fraction. But still, even if you are doing division, at the end you're going to be actually multiplying. Okay, but in here, when you do addition and subtraction, then we need to distinguish two different cases. One case is when you have the same denominator, so in this case we have 5 and in here we go 4. So then we do what we normally do. Okay, so we keep the same denominator and add the numerator. That's why in here the answer is 6 plus 3 is equal to 9, but in here take away 7 minus 2 is equal to 5. Okay, and then we keep the denominator. But when you have different denominator is when we need to be careful. We cannot do it that way anymore. It's no way that you're going to say 2 plus 4 and then 3 plus 5. Okay, you don't get the right answer. Same happen if you have, take away. You're not going to do 3 minus 4 and then 5 minus 7. You won't get 1 over 35, which is the correct answer. Okay, now we are going to apply all these to algebraic fraction. All right, so we're going to be doing some subtraction and addition of fraction, and then we'll see that we're going to be applying, you know, all these knowledge. Okay, let's start. Okay, now you're going to see not only numbers, but you're going to see pronumerals. All right. Okay. All right, so I'm getting ready. So let's find some question. All right, so here we go, some question. Okay, so now we're gonna be careful, okay? Because some of these questions can be a little bit tricky, especially now that you're gonna have to remember a lot from what we've done so far. Okay, so question 1. Okay, question 1, let's do 3a over 2 plus a over 3. All right, let's do that question. So you can see that we have different denominators, so we cannot put these two together. Okay, so we need to get the same denominators, and then we can actually add them. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we are going to multiply this fraction. We're going to multiply this fraction by 3. So that means that we're going to multiply the top and the bottom number by 3. And then we are going to multiply this fraction by 2. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 2. Okay, so we are going to amplify this fraction by 2. Okay, let's do that. So in here we're going to have 3a multiplied by 3. And then we're going to do 2 multiplied by 3. And then add a multiplied by 2. And then 3 multiplied by 2. Okay, so if you do that, then you're going to have the same denominator. Okay, and then we're going to have 3 times 3, which is 9a. And then 2 times 3, which is 6. And then plus 8 times 2 is just 2a, and then 3 times 2 is 6. And then you can see we have the same denominator, so then we can put this together. So 9a plus 2a is 11a, and then divided by 6. Done. Question 2. Okay, let's do this question 4 over 3a minus 5 over 2a. All right. Okay, so in here I got 3a, and here we got 2a, and I really want to have the same bottom number. Okay, so we're going to do what we did before. So I'm going to multiply this by 3, amplify this by 3, and then I'm going to amplify this by I'm going to amplify this by 2, and then I'm going to amplify this by 3. Okay, so 4 times 2 divided by 3a times 2, and then minus 5 times 3 over 2a times 3. Later, you'll see that you're going to get so good at this that you can do all this in your head. So you can go from here probably directly to this step. So you can go very quickly and do this. So 4 times this equal to 8 over 6a, and then minus 15 over 6a. Okay, like I say, with a little bit of practice, you can go from here directly to here. And then you're going to have 8 minus 15, which is minus 7, all over 6a. All right, now, sometimes you can cross multiply, so you can do 4 times 2a and put the answer, and then you do 3 times 5 and then you put the answer, and then you simplify. Okay, but I really want to do it this way because this is more like the exercises that we're gonna be doing later, which are a little bit more complicated. So if you do it this way, then you won't have any problem to do any of the other questions. But you need to understand that you really want to make the fraction looks the denominator or the fraction looks the same. Okay, that's what you really want to do. You really want to make the denominator of the fraction look the same, so then you can put them together. Okay, let's get into it a little bit more. All right. Okay, let's say that you got this one. Question 3. Question 3 says a over 3 plus 4a over 5, and then minus a over 4. Okay, so when the denominator are just numbers with no pronumeral, then it's easier if you find the lowest common denominator between 3, 5, and 4. Okay, so the lowest number that contain 3, 5, and 4 is 60. Okay, that is the lowest one. There are many more, but this is the lowest number that 3 goes into, 5 goes into, and 4 goes into. Okay, and when you find the lowest common denominator, then you say this. So you say 60 divided by 3, that is equal to 20, and then you multiply the answer by a. So it's going to be 20a. And then in here you go plus, so then you're going to put plus in here. And then you're going to say 60 divided by 5 is 12. And 12 times 4 is 48. So you're going to put 48a. And then you go take away, so you're going to put take away. And then 60 divided by 4 is 15. And 15 times a is 15a. Okay, and then you can simplify the top. So the answer is going to be 20 plus 48. So you do 20 plus 48, and then minus 15. I mean that the answer is 53a divided by 60. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the video here, and then I'm gonna continue in another one.